Looks like the brighter colors out towards East County and Gresham, but the west side of town starting to dry out just a little bit, and that will be the ongoing trend here in the western valleys tonight. You'll wake up to probably no rain, just some clouds and fog. Temperatures right around 40 degrees.
On World News Tonight, the Pentagon says that Osama bin Laden has lost one of his closest commanders, killed in a U.S. airstrike. Hunting bin Laden now with technology, money, and on horseback. The Taliban prepares to leave its last stronghold. Is Afghanistan in danger of breaking up, and what can the U.S. do? There's been a big drop in oil prices, a boon to consumers and good for the economy. In many parts of the West, living with drought. That is not good for the economy. And here on the edge of the country, how's it going in San Diego?
From ABC News, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, reporting from California.
Good evening, everyone, from San Diego. This is the second largest city in California, and because it is a Navy town, very deeply involved and engaged in the Afghanistan campaign. The Pentagon said today the Taliban have now lost control in 2/3 of Afghanistan and may be on the verge of losing the city of Kandahar in the south. The Pentagon also says that one of Osama bin Laden's most important lieutenants has been killed in a U.S. bombing raid. He is Mohammed Atif, who's accused of helping to plan the September 11th attacks. And so we're obviously going to start tonight with our Pentagon correspondent, John McCarthy.
Peter, intelligence sources say it was a U.S. airstrike earlier this week, striking a target just south of Kabul that ended up killing Mohammed Atif. They say they have credible evidence that Atif was killed along with several other lower-ranking officials in the al-Qaeda network. Atif was considered Osama bin Laden's next-in-command, a close personal friend and military advisor. Sources tell ABC News that the target was under aerial surveillance, and after it was hit, intelligence officials watched while people searched the wreckage and intercepted phone calls in which people sounded panicked about what had happened. American forces have not yet been able to search the site for physical evidence. As for bin Laden and Taliban leader Mullah Omar, the search for them now appears to be involving American forces on the ground in direct combat.
They're looking for information, they're interdicting roads, they're killing Taliban that won't surrender and al-Qaeda that are trying to move from one place to another.
The other major development in the war today was in Kandahar, the Taliban stronghold in the south. There are reports tonight that Taliban troops have abandoned the city, are fleeing to the mountains, and that Mullah Omar has left as well. The Pentagon is skeptical but watching closely. They are also watching the northern city of Kunduz, where 10,000 Taliban fighters are now nearly surrounded by the Northern Alliance. A bloody battle is in prospect there. But the focus tonight continues to be on the search for Osama bin Laden and those of his followers who are still alive. Officials say they hope that finding and killing Mohammed Atif means they are closing in. Peter?
Thank you, John. Mohammed Atif was one of the world's most wanted terrorists. He's often described as the military commander of al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden's operations man. ABC's John Miller met Atif when he interviewed bin Laden 3 years ago. Tonight, John reports from London.
Mohammed Atif took an unusual path to the role of terrorist leader. He first carried a gun as a young police officer in Egypt. But Atif gradually became a fierce opponent of the Egyptian government, joining violent opposition groups that carried out bombings and assassinations. By 1983, he was part of the army of Arab men fighting the Soviet invaders of Afghanistan. That is when he met Osama bin Laden. A decade after the war, Atif had merged his Egyptian terrorist group with bin Laden's al-Qaeda network and become bin Laden's military commander. U.S. investigators say Atif used a satellite phone from Afghanistan to send instructions to terrorists planning attacks on American targets around the world. Atif was believed to have been a key planner of the U.S. embassy bombings in East Africa, the attack on the USS Cole in Yemen, and the September 11th attack.
He was second in command and possible successor to bin Laden. He was in charge of military planning for some of the most spectacular attacks against U.S. interests in the world.
When an ABC News team went to interview bin Laden in 1998, Atef was in charge of bin Laden's personal security, searching us for weapons. A sign of just how close Atef was to bin Laden, last year Atef's daughter and bin Laden's son were married. A video of the wedding, released after the USS Cole bombing, showed the smiling father of the bride and the father of the groom, two men taunting the United States. John Miller, ABC News, London.
And now to the hunt for bin Laden himself. There has not been a day since September the 11th that there haven't been rumors swirling on several continents about bin Laden's whereabouts and his intentions. Today, there are reports from various sources that he may have left Afghanistan, and he does indeed have allies in nearby countries. The U.S. has been looking for bin Laden 24 hours a day, every day, and today has an unusual collection of assets deployed. ABC's Brian Ross is with us tonight. I gather, Brian, it involves money, technology, and good horses.
That's right, Peter. With bin Laden's protectors and the Taliban being routed, bin Laden himself faces a much smaller area in which to hide. Although given the terrain of the region, he's still far from cornered. Long stretches of the rugged border between Afghanistan and Pakistan are completely unguarded, and it's one escape route American intelligence officials don't rule out. In fact, Taliban sources tell ABC News today that's exactly what Osama bin Laden has done, sneaking across the Safed mountain range into Pakistan, where they say he is being protected by a tribal leader in the Northwest province. Defense Secretary Rumsfeld, as well as the Pakistan government, discounted such reports today.
There isn't any reason to believe he's in Pakistan. There's every reason to believe he's in Afghanistan.
American special forces in Afghanistan, some actually on horseback, are on the trail of bin Laden, seeking Taliban officials and offering cash to gain leads. And in the air, there is 24-hour overhead surveillance provided by unmanned spy planes, as U.S. commandos attempt to move into what they call the hunter-killer mode.
Once you can actually track him down over a narrow range of territory, that's at the point when you can be sure you have a hunter-killer mode.
But authorities also say it's entirely possible bin Laden does not really want to hide or escape.
What he may want is some kind of grandiose martyrdom, having at least one more attack on the United States, trying to flee to some Islamic shrine, trying to have a last battle.
One more reason in what could be bin Laden's final days that American authorities are urgently searching to see if bin Laden or any of his people have chemical, biological, or nuclear weapons of mass destruction. Peter?
Thanks, Brian, very much. There's growing concern in the international community today that as the Taliban retreats in various directions, Afghanistan may very quickly become the same fractured collection of provinces and regions that led to the rise of the Taliban in the mid-1990s. Even the Northern Alliance is in some disarray. ABC's David Wright is in Kabul again tonight.
The streets of Kabul were especially quiet today. Ramadan, the Muslim holy month, began early this morning. Most shops and restaurants were closed, but there is concern that the calm in this city may not last. Just half a day's drive away, 1,000 ethnic Hazara soldiers are waiting to move into Kabul. They don't completely trust the Northern Alliance forces who control the city. Just to the east, in Jalalabad, one warlord took control earlier this week. But now soldiers loyal to a rival commander are seeking control themselves. And in Kandahar, with the Taliban in retreat, there are reports of several different commanders waiting to move on that city. There are generals and warlords everywhere, it seems, vying for a piece of the action. All this reminds many Afghans of 1992, when factions of the Northern Alliance Army fought vicious battles against one another in the streets of Kabul, giving rise eventually to the Taliban, who stepped in to restore order. U.S. officials are well aware of this problem, and it may not be long before the U.S. assembles an international coalition of soldiers to assume a more visible role on the ground here in Afghanistan, keeping the peace. David Wright, ABC News, Kabul.
Just one final item from the region tonight. In Islamabad today, the American aid workers who were held for 3 months by the Taliban told reporters what it had been like. They say that despite their ordeal, they want to return to Afghanistan and help the people. Heather Mercer described the moment they were freed.
And all of a sudden, an opposition soldier comes in with reams of ammunition around his neck, and he just starts screaming, "You're free, you're free, the city's free, the Taliban have left." And I think all of us were in complete shock. We ended up gathering our stuff and running out of the prison, and I've never seen anything like it in my whole life.
When we come back, Charles Gibson in New York will have some of the day's other news, including today the plummeting cost of gasoline. Consumers get a better deal at a critical time for the economy. We'll take a closer look tonight at the drought in the country, and on the sea and on the border, San Diego and the war.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Nexium.
I'm every man.
And every woman who ever suffered from frequent, persistent heartburn.
If you've treated your heartburn and changed your diet, but it comes back 2 or more days a week, then you may know about the burning pain of acid reflux disease.
But there's something about acid reflux that I didn't know.
Over time, that acid churning up can wear away the lining of your esophagus.
I didn't know.
I didn't know.
I didn't.
But today, there's a purple pill called Nexium. It's from the makers of Prilosec. Just 1 prescription Nexium a day gives many people complete resolution of heartburn symptoms.
That could mean complete heartburn relief.
And importantly, Nexium is also proven to heal erosions in the esophagus caused by acid reflux. Only a doctor can determine if you have this damage. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. The most common side effects of Nexium and Prilosec are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. So talk to your doctor and call this number for more information and for a free trial certificate for Nexium.
Relieve the heartburn, heal the damage. It's possible with today's purple pill called Nexium.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Ted.
What took? I was getting claustrophobic.
Sorry, man. So what's your idea?
Home installation, Teddy.
Interesting.
We'll go to people's homes, we'll set everything up, and we'll do it for free.
That's great.
I thought you'd dig it.
I gotta go. You want the light on or off?
On, please. It was getting a little spooky.
When my wife first got me this, I was a little nervous. That was until I found Flexinu. Makes me feel like my college days.
Introducing Flexinu, a natural COX-2 inhibitor, plus glucosamine and chondroitin for joint health.
Pepperidge Farm Texas Toast.
Okay, I'll get the pasta bowl.
Hot, crusty garlic toast. Just 5 minutes to make. It's probably ready before you are. Pepperidge Farm. Never have an ordinary day.
A new development tonight on anthrax. Officials have been looking for a so-called second letter in the Washington area. They believe the anthrax-laden letter sent to Senator Tom Daschle could not have been responsible for all the anthrax cases around Washington. Well, now, ABC News has learned the second letter has been found. ABC's Pierre Thomas is in Washington. Pierre?
Charlie, as you said, law enforcement officials had long suspected that there was more than one letter. What we've learned tonight is that the FBI, who has been looking at sequestered letters from Capitol Hill, has found another letter postmarked from Trenton, New Jersey, that was sent to Senator Leahy, who is the current head of the Senate Judiciary Committee, senator from Vermont. The FBI has not completely opened the letter, but it had anthrax apparently spewing out of it, anthrax powder. The FBI is now has this letter and is going to do additional testing on it, Charlie.
Pierre, that first letter that was sent to Senator Daschle was very distinctive in the printing that was on the envelope. Any similarities to that one with this letter?
Again, I'm being told that the print is exactly the same. It's also postmarked October 9th. It's also from the Trenton, New Jersey post office, supposedly. And in addition, it also has the same return address that the Senator Daschle letter had as well.
All right, thanks. ABC's Pierre Thomas in Washington. In economic news tonight, prices for crude oil continue to fall dramatically. They are down 30% since September 11th. And oil is such an important commodity for the economy. The ripple effects of falling prices in oil are enormous. ABC's Betsy Stark is here, and this comes at a good time for the economy to have falling oil prices.
It does, Charlie. Cheap oil, cheap gasoline. Economists say this cheap fuel is acting like a tax cut, not just for consumers, but businesses too.
The 38% drop in jet fuel prices has been welcome relief for the airlines, which have been slashing fares to get flyers back in the skies. For consumers who still remember the pain last summer of filling up at more than $2 a gallon, cheap gas is something to be thankful for as they head for the highways to be with their families next week. Nationwide, a gallon of regular unleaded was selling for $1.20 today. In Atlanta, even less. Consumers we talk to there say it's saving them a lot of money.
I would guess about $100 a month.
Easily $40, $50 a month, just off both cars.
I'm sure I'll spend whatever the saving is in something.
Economists estimate for every dollar crude oil prices drop, American consumers gain $5 billion to spend on something else, which means the roughly $12 drop in crude prices since September 11th could pump an extra $60 billion into the economy, and at a critical time.
We're just crossing our fingers and hoping that it'll result in customers coming back into the stores and doing their holiday shopping.
Consumers can thank a breakdown in OPEC's ability to dictate oil prices for their good fortune. The oil cartel is desperate to cut production and drive prices higher, but it cannot convince non-OPEC oil producers to go along with its plan. So for now, it's possible energy prices of all kinds, Charlie, will head even lower.
All right, thanks, Betsy Stark. The national briefing begins tonight outside Atlanta. At Hartsfield Airport today, about 10,000 people had to be evacuated, and all flights were halted after a man ran through security and disappeared. The airport was closed 3.5 hours. Flights throughout the country were disrupted. Meanwhile, Argenbright, the country's largest airport security firm, has been fired at Boston's Logan Airport. The company is accused of sloppy work. And the Harry Potter movie opened today to lukewarm reviews, but an eager audience. In some parts of the country, schools are closing early so kids can see it. One school in Florida actually rented a theater so the children could see it after morning exams. When we come back, why some of the bears in the West aren't hibernating. It has something to do with the weather.
Bringing together my loved ones' faces, 2 in college, 1 in braces. Holiday dishes aiming to please, but only one is hot and flaky, made with ease. Presents first on the table, they're going fast. Grab one quick, they're gone in a flash. Looking around, it was all worthwhile. Leftovers, a table full of smiles.
Dear Aleve, I was always a morning person. It's the very best part of my day. So when arthritis pain robbed me of my mornings, I was determined to find relief. I tried Tylenol, but that painful morning stiffness was still there. Then my doctor told me about Aleve and a new clinical study.
In addition to all-day pain relief, Aleve is better than extra-strength Tylenol for relieving morning stiffness.
Now mornings are mine again, and that's a beautiful feeling. Thanks, Aleve.
Don't get that, Frank.
Hello? Baxter!
Crunchy Meow Mix seafood middles. Mackerel and tuna flavors make it taste so good. Cats ask for it. By name.
When that pastrami on rye catches up with me, heartburn big time. My passenger says, here, take a Zantac 75. I say, what are you, a doctor? And he says, yeah.
Zantac 75, the heartburn relief doctors trust.
If I had a man like Hefty,
He'd always be coming up with new ways to impress me.
Introducing Hefty the Gripper, the first kitchen bag with a stretch and grip top so it hugs the can and won't slip.
Oh, and he'd know how to hold on tight.
Then he wouldn't cave under pressure. Nothing's made like the Gripper. It stretches, grips, and stays put so it can take it like a man.
And when I'm done with him, ciao, baby.
Bye-bye. So long. The Gripper. New from Hefty. The strong, dependable type.
Ocean Spray is fortified with as much vitamin C as orange juice, so it's good for your whole body. Just leave the juicing to us. Ocean Spray. Crave the wave.
We're going to take a closer look tonight at the drought. You may not have heard too much about the unusually warm and dry weather that's swaddling much of the country, but you've probably felt it, maybe even enjoyed it. Drought, of course, is not good news for farmers, nor is it good news for people in the West who depend on winter snows. ABC's Bill Redeker is in Colorado.
Temperatures in the Colorado Rockies have been 15 to 20 degrees above normal for nearly a month, and there has been little rain, virtually no snow.
This is probably some of the strangest weather that we've had in Colorado probably since the mid-60s.
The impact can be felt everywhere. Mountain snowpack, which feeds agricultural and residential customers in 9 western states, is 1/5 of what it was last year. The winter wheat crop has been stunted by the drought. Ranchers have been forced to market livestock earlier because of the shortage of water and feed.
I've been farming for over 30 years, and this is probably, the last 3 years have been my poorest years ever. It's just that bad.
Even bears, which showed up in cities this summer looking for food, are still around.
We are still having problems in isolated areas where bears are still out foraging, and they should be hibernating at this time of year.
The warm weather is particularly difficult for the ski industry. Last year at this time, there was about 2 feet of snow on the ground. This year, the only white stuff is man-made, and it is melting quickly. Vail and Aspen ski resorts were supposed to open this weekend, but now
the official opening date has been delayed until next week.
Only if it snows heavily or becomes cold enough to make snow. Hotels and shops are struggling.
It's not good for business. Definitely. As you can see, we have no customers in here.
It's gonna snow. It always does. Sometimes a little bit later than planned, but it always snows.
Until then, the state's billion-dollar ski industry will have to rely on day visitors, attracted by mountain restaurants and bars. Après skiers, if you will. Bill Redeker, ABC News, Vail, Colorado.
And when we return, Peter will be back with the report from Southern California, where life is not what it used to be.
Morning, guys.
Hi.
Hey, morning.
Like to see how your cereals stack up the total?
Yeah, go ahead.
To get the iron in 1 bowl of total, you'll have to eat 2 bowls of cornflakes. For folic acid, try 4 bowls.
And a really big spoon.
Want zinc? 10 bowls for you.
What's so funny?
Nothing.
Nice bowls.
Total has 100% of 11 vitamins and minerals in just 1 bowl.
We'll take the total. Sure. And give Junior the check.
What? Total, 1 bowl, 100%. Look for savings on Total in Sunday's paper.
Is 106 cubic feet of interior space really necessary? As a matter of fact, it is. Avalon, the most spacious sedan we've ever created.
Ziploc containers test number 3. With our new divided containers, a sandwich, salad, and brownie doesn't turn into a brownie salad sandwich. Ziploc, all you ever wanted in a container.
29, 30.
Time is running out on our 30 mouthwatering shrimp for just $9.99. Come in soon to Red Lobster and go overboard.
Imagine combining the stain-fighting power of Efferdent and freshening power of Listerine. You'd get Efferdent Plus. It's extra fresh, and nothing gets your dentures cleaner. Efferdent Clean, Listerine Fresh. That's Efferdent Plus.
Pepperidge Farm Texas Toast.
Okay, I'll get the pasta bowl.
Hot, crusty garlic toast. Just 5 minutes to make. It's probably ready before you are. Pepperidge Farm. Never have an ordinary day.
us. Does achievement discriminate? Or does it open its doors to everyone?
I'm Paul Lindman. Coming up next on K2 News, a barge breaks up carrying thousands of logs. Now the Coast Guard's trying to corral those logs on the loose. Is Treva Throneberry who she claims to be? We'll hear what her psychiatrist had to say in court today. And Congress passes a major aviation security bill. We'll see how that impacts us at the Portland Airport next on K2.
Finally this evening, a brief encounter with this beautiful place, San Diego. We came to California, and we'll go on to Colorado and Texas to hear, albeit briefly, how people have been getting along in these last several weeks, what their expectations are about the immediate future, and what their priorities are now. San Diego on the sea, on the border, and on edge.
The other day there was an earthquake, and it was like 12 o'clock at night, and I thought we'd been hit.
I think people are probably more vigilant, more cautious.
We may be far from ground zero here, but the terrorist attacks and the Afghanistan campaign are on many people's minds here. This is the country's largest naval base. This week, the aircraft carrier Stennis and its battle group sailed from here. With 8,500 sailors and Marines, everyone knew where they were going.
Who knows what's going to happen when those ships go out? Some may not come home.
Rear Admiral Ronnie Froman commanded the naval station here for 3 years. The Navy had made an effort to make the base accessible to San Diegans. Not anymore.
What's changed is the fear that San Diego could be next. We've got M16s on the gates now, and so we now have gone back into our hunker down state.
Everyone here is hunkered down to some extent. San Diego's a great tourist town. The tourists are staying at home.
We'll see between 8,000 and 10,000 jobs lost as a result of the recent downturn.
San Diego is where the U.S. meets Mexico. The North American Free Trade Agreement was making millionaires here and providing better jobs for thousands of Mexican workers. Security at the border is so tight today, it is quicker and more efficient to come and go on a bicycle. It still takes forever.
At least 2 hours coming into San Diego and then 2 hours to get back into Mexico. When people cannot come into the United States, all the businesses suffer.
And because jobs here are disappearing, Mexican workers are disappearing, including illegals who are leaving because they are more afraid to be in America now. Sam Marasco wonders what will happen to his dream. Some months ago, we saw phase 1 of his shopping mall right on the border with Tijuana. He had spent $250 million.
It caused me some great concern that morning on September 11th.
The mall actually opened today, but will it make it when the border traffic is slowed to a trickle and more Americans are reluctant to travel? Mr. Marasco says because of September 11th, he needs government help now.
To make the San Diego-Tijuana border crossing a national priority.
So here in what is often referred to as the birthplace of California, they are not far from ground zero after all. San Diegans know full well that life has changed, at least for now. And that is our report on World News Tonight. On Monday, we're going to be in Dallas. I hope you'll join us then, and that you have a good weekend. I'm Peter Jennings. Good night from San Diego.
Tonight, 10/9 Central.
What's all this stuff about the two of you having this big romance?
George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, Andy Garcia.